I'm Tiffany, and this is Towering TBR. Today, I am starting an autumnal vlog. It is cold and rainy outside, and just feels like the perfect time for some autumnal themed stuff. So I picked the books that I think best sum up autumn. And the first one is going to be The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. This is a spooky paranormal read, so I thought that would be perfect. I'm also going to read Ring Shout by Djeli Clark. This is a horror, like an alternative history horror, I think. And Vita Nostra by Marina and Sergey Dyachenko. So I'm going to read these three, and then I also just recently bought Jenny Lawson's essay called I Choose Darkness, which I'm going to listen to her narrate. And so I think that this is going to be a weekly vlog, but it's really just going to be however long it takes me to read these 4 books. So welcome. Grab yourself.
Incredibly lazy. By incredibly lazy, I mean the kind of person who judges their own merit by the sizzle reel everyone else seems to have on Instagram, highlighting their ability to use an oven, their more than 4 plates, and or for some odd reason, their matching pajamas. And while I envy the energy, determination, ability to manipulate social media, and shared insanity of those people, it's become very clear to my family and me that we are not those people. Year before last, I didn't get my Christmas tree up at all. Between my depression and my rheumatoid arthritis, I have to pick and choose what I can do before I fall into a light coma. So year before last, when COVID-19 first kept us all homebound, I wrapped presents and skipped the tree. Last year.
So I painted my nails orange to get into the autumnal feeling. And I listened to the essay by Jenny Lawson called I Choose Darkness. And it was really good. She focused on some... Just a sec. Okay. Hopefully he'll stop that. So it was mostly about her childhood growing up and her Halloween traditions and just some funny stories of growing up really rurally in Texas. So I gave that 4 stars. I really enjoyed it, and it was quite quick, so that was nice. I have then started Vita Nostra, which I have the dust jacket here. I'm about 75 pages in. So far, I'm kind of confused. Like, this girl on vacation gets randomly tapped by this creepy guy, and he starts saying, like, go swim in the ocean. And then, like, when she does and she's finished, she, like, starts throwing up coins. And, yeah, so she just has to keep doing that. And she's like, hey, I'm on vacation. I don't actually live near the ocean. Can I stop? And it's very ominous. Like, if she stops, she thinks that people around her are going to get hurt. And on one such occasion, she overslept and didn't do the task he had told her to do. And then her mother's boyfriend had a heart attack. And so she feels like she has to do what they ask of her, or bad things will happen, even though it hasn't been, like, explicitly drawn out. And anyways, after she does lots of tasks, she then gets an acceptance letter to a school, and she has to bring all the coins that she threw up with her. And yeah, I mean, I don't really know what the school's about yet, but she just got there and there's quite a few other first years. And so, yeah, I guess that's where we're at. I hope to read about 100 more pages. Um, so, yeah. I may also pick up one of the other books, the Graveyard Book or Ring Shout, because I'm used to reading multiple books at once, and so I might do that. But yeah, this is pretty slow. I will say that some of these tabs are for ableism. It's really, like, they call the other students at their school crippled because they would do weird things, and yeah, I'm not really liking that. I'm hoping that either it's called out or it's only associated with a specific character. So, keeping track of that. But so far, the writing is good and I'm enjoying that. So, I will let you know when I have read more and I'll update you then. So, I just got some interesting book mail. And, okay, Ollie doesn't want to stay for that. I am very excited for this purchase. Saga Volume 10. And after they left us on a cliffhanger for 3 years, I'm finally going to be able to read it after this vlog is done. But I will be getting to it this month. So excited. Okay, back to reading what I'm supposed to read. Hey, so I have read quite a bit more of Vita Nostra. I'm on page 190. And yeah, I think the last I was telling you about, she had just arrived at the school. And so now Sasha has gone through a year of this. She is the best student. Even though we still don't really know what they're learning, like she just has to memorize stuff. And yeah, like I'm nervous to talk about any more specifics because I don't know what will be a spoiler and what won't. So I guess I'll have to edit it out if I've said anything spoilery. But yeah, we really don't know what's going on. There have been a few hints as to what maybe is going on, and I'm thinking this might be science fiction. I'm not sure. Yeah. So I'm enjoying it. I always feel like when we don't know something, the longer it takes for us to learn it, the more impatient I am. I'm like, just tell us what it is already. And I am kind of feeling that way right now. But hopefully whatever the twist is, or, you know, whatever the explanation is, will be really entertaining. So, intend to read some more of this. I didn't film yesterday because I had a terrible migraine. So, I'm a little bit behind. But, the other 2 books are fairly short, and one of them is a middle grade as well, so I still think I can get this done in a week. So I will let you know once I've read more. Hey, so I have read a little bit more of Vita Nostra. I'm on page 235. Yeah, not really sure what else I can say about this, except for someone's experiencing a time loop, which I think is interesting. Lots of like repeating the day, and yeah, I'm still really confused as to what's going on, which I don't like feeling. But I'm gonna keep persevering because everybody says this is great, but my interest is flagging a little bit. So I decided to pick up another book, and I started The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. I am on page 52, and this is just wonderful. I'm listening to the full cast audiobook, so all of the main characters have their own voice. There's a narrator voice. There's like spooky music. It's incredibly immersive, and I'm loving it. I think I read this about 4 or 5 years ago, and I have forgotten quite a bit of this story. So, yeah, I'm remembering things now as they're coming up. Um, but for people who haven't read this book, this is about a little boy. His family is murdered, and he slips out of his house during that event and toddles down to the graveyard. And the inhabitants, the ghosts that live there, decide to take guardianship to protect him from the murderer. And so he's just growing up in the graveyard, and he's learning his ABCs by looking at headstones, and like it's just really sweet. There's a girl that shows up that becomes his friend, and it's like his first living friend, and he's just so excited. And yeah, really enjoying it. Gonna keep reading it. And yeah, I'll let you know how the rest of it turns out. Okay, so it's been a few days since I've updated. I've had kind of a spate of bad days. So, in that time, though, I have finished The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. This was super enjoyable, lots of fun. I even started tabbing like little references to the jungle, which I didn't notice the first time around. And yeah, this has a really wonderful conclusion, and 5 stars. Enjoyed it so much. With Vita Nostra, I have read a little bit more. I'm on 256. I think this is about 400 pages. Yeah, I'm really not liking this. Part of me wants to keep pushing through because maybe the payoff will be worth it, but we got a moment that was incredibly surreal, which is not something I enjoy in books. So yeah, I'm gonna try and finish this book, but I don't know if it's worth the payoff. I have not started Ring Shout yet, so that is what I'm going to be going to next. It's quite slim, so I'm thinking I can get it done pretty quickly if I feel well enough to read. So yeah, I'm also going to include footage of a Zoom event that I attended last night. The Center for Fiction had Barbara Kingsolver and Silas House talking about their new books, and if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I'm really excited about Barbara Kingsolver's Demon Copperhead. And they both read from their books, which just got me more and more excited. But as soon as Silas House read from Lark Ascending, I immediately put it on my library hold list. It was beautiful. Not that I need to be adding anything to my list, but I will show you some clips of that Zoom event in case it intrigues you to pick up some of these books. So hopefully when I update again, I'll have made a decision one way or the other about Vita Nostra, and I will have finished Ring Shout. So yeah, that's what's on the agenda today, and I will fill you in when I have more.
Kid born to the junkie is a junkie. He'll grow up to be everything you don't want to know. The rotten teeth and dead zone eyes, the nuisance of locking up your tools in the garage so they don't walk off. The rent by the week motel squatting well back from the scenic highway.
I waited. I was so tired I could barely move, but somehow I thought if the dog might come near and put his wet nose into the palm of my hand, I would be re-energized. This one act would be enough to get me through. And so, this was the first time he saved me.
Hey, so, okay, I DNF'd Vita Nostra. I'm sure if you were watching earlier, you were probably like, Tiffany, just stop reading it. You seem to hate this. And I don't know why it took me so long, but I finally DNF'd it. I did go on Goodreads to find out like what happened in the end, and I think DNFing was the right choice. That type of book is just not interesting to me, and yeah, I'm glad I didn't waste any more time. So this was not for me. I then picked up Ring Shout, and I read this all in one day. It is really good. It's an alternative history, and we're in 1922, and we're following these black women, and they are killing Ku Kluxes, which are what appear to be white men, but these black women can see the monster underneath, and they're like really, really hard to kill, and it's really a look at society and examining what hate does to a society. And I thought it was brilliant. It is really gory and it is really creepy. Like, when people said this was a horror, they don't just mean the concept. It was a little much for me because of that. I don't typically read horror, but I am doing this for a Read Harder challenge. So I thought the writing was fabulous and the audiobook was great as well. And yeah, I even tabbed something that I thought I should read. It says, "That's science talk for how clan folk turn Ku Klux. Molly says it's like an infection or a parasite, and it feed on hate. She says chemicals in the body change when you hate strong. When that infection meets hate, it starts growing until it's powerful enough to turn a person Ku Klux." So, I thought that was really good, and I liked it. So, overall, this was a bit of a wild ride. I read Jenny Lawson's essay, I Choose Darkness, and I gave that 4 stars. I read Neil Gaiman's The Graveyard Book and gave it 5 stars, though it was a reread. I DNF'd Vita Nostra, and I gave Ring Shout 4 stars. So, other than Vita Nostra, that was a pretty good reading couple of weeks. So, thank you so much for joining me. I hope this was fun, and if you have any comments or questions, definitely leave them down in the comments below.